What if the tiredness you feel all the time isn't because you're lazy? What if the tremendous emotional ups and downs you're going through aren't just because you're overly sensitive? A lot of people go through life feeling damaged with diagnoses like anxiety or depression that don't exactly match. They're dealing with the symptoms, but the fundamental problem, the real wound, is still hidden. Today we're going to talk about 7 of the most common symptoms of complicated PTSD that people get wrong or don't understand. It's not about labels, it's about knowing the truth about your story. First, a distorted view of yourself. This isn't just low self-esteem. It's a profound and long-lasting feeling that you're useless, helpless, or inherently flawed. You don't recognize the person looking back at you in the mirror, or you feel a profound, unshakable shame that you can't explain intellectually when you've been through a lot of trauma, especially as a youngster. Before you ever have a chance to properly create your sense of who you are, it gets broken. The things you heard from your surroundings, that you were a burden, that your needs didn't matter, and that you were to fault for what was happening, become the foundation of who you are. A lot of the time this is mistaken for long-term depression. Depression does make you feel worthless, but the humiliation that comes with Cptsd is different. You believe deep down that you are awful. You can always be saying sorry for being alive, not being able to take compliments, or feeling like a fake who is simply waiting to be found out. It's the silent, nagging voice that says, if people really knew you, they would leave. This isn't simply a mood, it's a deeply established picture of who you think you are, drawn by the events of your past. When you discover you didn't make that first painful artwork, healing starts. Do you ever feel like your feelings are in charge of you? One minute you're okay, and the next you're hit by a surge of rage, despair, or fear that seems entirely out of place. Or maybe you experience the opposite, a constant numbness and a sense of being cut off from your own feelings, like you're viewing your life through a thick wall of glass. This emotional mess is a sign of Cptsd. Your nervous system has been on high alert for so long that it has forgotten how to locate its baseline. People often confuse this with borderline personality disorder, BPD, or bipolar disorder. There may be some similarities, but the main distinction is where they come from. These changes in mood are closely linked to trauma triggers in people with Cptsd. A sound that seems innocent, a smell that seems familiar, or a tone of voice that seems right can bring back the feelings you had during your trauma without you even realizing it. You're not only reacting to what's going on right now, you're also reacting to what's going on right now with all the fear and danger from the past. These aren't just mood swings, they're emotional flashbacks. The first step in learning how to calm the scared part of you that is still living in that prior threat is to understand this difference. 3. Problems in relationships. It can be very hard to deal with relationships when you have Cptsd, and there are dangers that you can't perceive. You could really want to be close to someone, but at the same time you might be scared of it. There are a couple ways this might show up. You can be attracted to relationships that are chaotic or toxic because they remind you of how things were in the past. To keep others happy, you might give up your own needs and become a people pleaser. You might think this is the only way to be safe and loved. On the other hand, you might stay away from closeness altogether, keeping everyone at a safe distance so you don't get injured again. It's not easy to trust. You can always be on the lookout for signals of betrayal or abandonment, and you might think that benign actions are confirmation that something bad is about to happen. People often think this is social anxiety or avoidant personality disorder, but it's not only about being afraid of social situations. It's a profound dread of connection itself that comes from times when the individuals who were supposed to keep you safe hurt you instead. To learn how to form healthy relationships, you need to acquire a new language of safety and trust that you didn't learn in the past. 4. Long-term physical symptoms. Does your body always feel like a war zone? People with Cptsd often have unexplained chronic pain, excruciating exhaustion, digestive problems, migraines, and a lot of other physical problems. People used to think that the mind and body were separate, but we now know that they are very closely linked. Stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline flood your body when you go through a lot of trauma for a long time. It is always ready to fight, run away, or freeze. This long-term stress has a huge negative effect on your physical health over time. People commonly think these symptoms are fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. Patients can go to several doctors and do many tests for years, only to be informed that nothing is wrong, or that it's all in their brain. The anguish is real, that's the truth. The tiredness is real. It's not a dream. It's the body's way of saying that the load it is carrying is too heavy to bear. The body remembers things that the mind wants to forget, and sometimes it talks in agony. When you listen to your body, you're not looking for a new diagnosis. You're trying to comprehend how it has survived. 5. Losing a system of meanings. This is one of the most subtle but serious signs. You feel hopeless, or like you've lost trust in everything. Your experiences have broken the ideas that used to give you comfort and a sense of order. Like that the world is fair, that good things happen to good people, and that you have a purpose. You could feel very hopeless, like nothing you do counts, and like the future is just a continuation of the horrible past. People often think of this as existential despair or a spiritual crisis, but it's more than just a philosophical problem. When other people hurt you, especially over a long time, it can make you lose all faith in humanity. You can lose your spiritual or religious views, not because you don't believe in them anymore, but because you can't see how a kind higher force could allow the brutality you've seen or experienced. It makes you feel like you're floating in a cosmos that doesn't matter. It's not about finding easy solutions or cliches when you want to rebuild this system of meaning. Finding a new source of hope and purpose is a tough, hard process that often involves connecting with people who understand and finding meaning in the act of healing itself. Number 6, being too focused on the abuser. Do you keep thinking about the person or individuals who hurt you? This isn't about wanting them back. It could be a strong desire for revenge or a frequent mental rehearsal of what happened in an effort to make sense of it. You could use up a lot of mental and emotional energy thinking about them, what they did and why they did it. You could feel like you're stuck in a mental prison with the person you want to get away from. People often think that this means the survivor can't let go or move on. People may encourage you to just forget about them, but it's not that easy. This obsession is the mind's desperate attempt to get back some control and make sense of something that is at its foundation impossible to fathom. It's the brain trying to figure out a conundrum that can't be solved. For a youngster who needed an abuser to be alive, that person was everything to them. It is quite hard to separate your identity from theirs. This doesn't mean you're weak. It means the trauma has become a part of your thinking. Number 7, dissociation. Dissociation is a way your mind protects you from overwhelming situations by disconnecting from the present moment. There is a range of it. It can seem like daydreaming, zoning out, or being on autopilot on the milder end. You might not remember the drive home at all. In the most extreme cases, it might make you feel that you're not connected to your own body or feelings, or that the world around you isn't real. You may not remember a lot of things, especially during difficult times. This is one of the most common signs of trauma. Yet it is sometimes misunderstood as attention deficit disorder, ADD, or even psychosis in its most extreme manifestations. Teachers might call a youngster a daydreamer who doesn't pay attention, but the child is really just trying to get away from a home situation that is too much for them. It can feel like you're living in a fog as an adult, trying to stay present and engaged. This isn't a defect in your character or a lack of focus. It was a great way to stay alive. At that moment, checking out was the only way to get through the unbearable. Now the hard part is teaching your mind that it's okay to check back in. Seeing yourself in these descriptions can be very powerful and sometimes hard, but it's an important step toward real healing. You are not broken, too sensitive, or alone. You are a survivor who has been carrying an invisible burden for too long. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos that help you understand what it means to be human.